Welcome to another edition of Around Town, where we focus in on the people and places of your community. I'm Larry Seaman, your host, and as always, we have a special guest, and this special guest is a singer, entertainer, musician, and also a songwriter, and her name is Marlena Phillips. And it's always a pleasure to see you. We've seen you around the area performing, and you do a great job.
Thank you.
How did it all start that you wanted to sing, and why and how did that happen?
As a kid, very young age, I was obsessed with music. Loved singing. I loved listening to other singers and trying to sound exactly like them and all that. And then when I went to school, I got into every single music group that I possibly could.
Okay.
Band, chorus, you name it. And
What was your
all
favorite
Eastern,
at the
all
time?
state. So many. I mean, from contemporary country right now, I love Old Dominion, Phil Vassar. I love his piano and singing. I love pop country. That's my thing right now. Shania Twain from the 90s. Everything in school. And then there was a group called the Showstoppers Orchestra, which was run by a local music school, the Rosita Lee Music School in Hudson, New
Yep.
Hampshire. And believe it or not, I took accordion and sang in front of the accordion orchestra. They had accordion, guitar, drums, can't remember what else, but it was a lot of fun. It was
Yeah.
all kids.
Yeah.
And
Is it a complicated instrument?
no, accordion is, well, you know, like anything, it's a two-handed instrument, so you have some memorization to do and some coordination,
Yeah.
and it takes practice, diligence, but if you're motivated and you like what you're learning from music, and if you like the social aspect of it, which I really, really did,
Yeah.
and the singing opportunity, then yeah, it's like any instrument. It just takes some time and it takes the will, I guess. But I got to sing in front of that orchestra, all kinds of pop songs. I got to pick some of the songs. And
Oh,
it
great.
was exciting.
Great,
And then
yeah.
they also had opportunities for young people who wanted to dance. And that was probably my best school-aged experience, in addition to the school opportunities and all state and all Eastern and that kind
Did
of
you
thing.
like
So
school in general, or?
absolutely loved school for the music opportunities
Yeah, I
and the
see.
social,
Right,
being able to
right.
see friends. And I like certain courses, psychology, English, things like that I excelled in. Math and science, forget about it,
So,
not good.
so it was always on your mind to entertain in some fashion.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. Even in the early years when I really wasn't comfortable and relaxed in front of an audience, I still wanted to be
Right.
so much
right.
better. And I just knew it when I sang, I felt good. And in the last 5 or 6 years or so, I've become much more comfortable relaxing into who I am and just being myself and connecting with people and not worrying so much about standing up there and doing a formal performance. Early on, my first gigs were, I was in a really small little country band, and we did weddings here and there, and we did a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
very informal, what do you call it? Watering holes is what I would
Yeah,
call them at the time,
right,
you
right,
know.
right.
But that was my first band, and then I got into several very good wedding bands, and I sang all over the Boston area, some of the real nice hotels in Boston. I really learned how to present myself and be an MC and use music as ambiance and background to a more formal event for someone else.
Yeah.
And then bring the music more to the forefront for the special events and the dances. And then full force into getting everybody up on the dance floor and dancing. So I really feel like I learned a lot about music's place
Yeah.
in every situation. And I began to learn how to be good with all kinds of different audiences and
Great.
different situations.
You mentioned you get to meet a lot of different people. Are there any that you want to talk about right now? Any characters or maybe celebrities or something that some people that you've met that would be outstanding?
Yeah,
in your mind?
definitely, definitely. I've met so many people that are who are just wonderful people. Period. You know, but really one stands out, and to me, it's a funny story. I met Steven Tyler,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it was totally unexpected. I was singing on a weekend at a retirement community, and it was the sleepy room, and I call it the sleepy room because I was in one end of the building where most of the folks there needed a high level of care.
Yeah.
And they literally slept most of their day. And they would gather around maybe 12 people, and I would sing for them and try to keep them upbeat. And really, it would bring them out of their shell and make them super happy. And they'd start singing. And
That's great.
like, yeah, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm meant to do. But in the doorway, I'll never forget this. I was singing one of my favorite songs at the time. It was a power ballad by Celine Dion. It was The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. And I'm singing it, singing my heart out, and I open my eyes, and in the doorway, dressed totally like a celebrity, is Steven Tyler, and my knees went weak. I'm like, holy moly, no way. And I said the stupidest thing. I just let the music keep playing in the background, and I'm like, is your name Steven? So stupid. And he goes, yes, it is. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to sing in front of you? And this was at a time, this was, oh gosh, I don't remember what year. He was doing the judging on American Idol at the time. So I'd been watching, and there were a couple of singers I thought were really great. It was down to the last two, and I'm thinking, maybe he's here to audition me.
Yeah. Was
I
he?
had all these things going through my head. Damn, no. Unfortunately, not at all. Not at all.
But he had some kind words for you, though.
He did. Well, it's so interesting. This is so funny, but I had been singing for a couple of years for his father, and I never knew it.
Oh.
And this sweet gentleman used to be over on the other side of the building that was, what do you call it? Independent living. They all had their own apartments. They come and go.
Oh, yeah.
And it was more upbeat and fun.
And he never said anything about.
Well, when he was over there, he was like, you have a voice that deserves to be heard, and I know good music, and I used to be in classical myself, and I used to play piano. My son's a singer, and he does this really, really loud rock music. I can't stand it. It's so loud.
That's funny.
And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, his son probably is one of those metal bands playing in the garage, but it never would have occurred to me that his son was actually a mega star, right? So I just never thought anything of it. So when I ever saw him there, I was like, oh my God, this is just amazing. So it was just about time for me to pack up my equipment and go to the other side of the building and do another show for the upbeat side. So him and his bodyguards, he had 2 bodyguards with him. They followed me to the other end of the building, and they were going to watch that show. And I'm setting up my PA system again, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. I'm trying to act cool. I'm trying to act like
I've been through this before, I know.
Yeah, like I'm not going to like fawn all over you because you probably get that all the time and hate that. And I was just trying to like, be cool without being rude or anything like that. But so he was making small talk, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. I have a Bose PA system, and I'm setting it up. He goes, oh, I have one of those in my dressing room. And I'm like, in your dressing room? This is my main PA system. But I was like, wow, so you warm up with one of these. And a lot of small talk like that. Yeah. Really cool stuff. He ordered a sandwich, and he was telling the waitress he liked mayonnaise on his sandwich, and then he starts telling the bodyguards, no, I have plenty of mayonnaise at home. You wouldn't believe this. I mentioned once that I like this certain brand of mayonnaise, and somebody sent me a case of it. Crazy. So, anyway, he was very animated.
Oh, that's great. That's
a lot of stories. It was a lot of fun. And at the end, 2 things I want to tell you. Am I going on too long?
No, go ahead.
All right. 2 things is once I started singing, I sang My Guy.
Yeah.
And I said, can I sit on your lap? So I sat on his lap, and I went, my guy, and, like that. And he goes, my guy. So Steven Tyler sang backup for me.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was wicked.
That's great.
So, like, I can actually say he sang backup for me. It was so cool.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and at the end, the thing that really meant so much to me is that he said to me, he goes, Marlena, do you have a camera? No. He goes, do you have a phone? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm thinking, I said, are you going to call me? I'm thinking, wow, maybe he does want me for American Idol. What is this all about anyway? So anyway, he goes, no, a phone, with a camera in it. And I'm like, oh yeah. And I pull out my smartphone, and he hands it to his bodyguards, and he says, take some pictures of us. You can put these on your YouTube or whatever you do.
Oh, that's great.
I could not believe it. I never would have asked.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was just so grateful that he offered. And so now we've got 3 really cool pictures of me with Steven, and we were hamming it up in the pictures and being silly, and me kissing him, and it's just so funny. He was just a really fun guy, really, really nice. And
so, okay, let's talk about the future. What's going on? What's coming up, more or less?
Well, I am going to be expanding what I'm doing a lot with probably many more originals. They're just, the songs are really just coming to me now. I've just really gotten into this attitude of positivity
Yeah.
and changing the way I think, looking at the bright side of everything and not allowing myself to get negative. And it's just causing new songs to come to me and new people to come to me. And, it just feels like things are going really well. So I'll be doing a lot with my originals as well as pop songs, feel-good songs that get everybody singing. It's kind of my thing. It's just like I love getting a whole audience singing along with me and then listening to a few songs that I sing by myself or that I've written. And I kind of picture myself opening for people who have a much greater following than I do.
Yeah.
And ideally, in my wildest dreams, I build a following and I have big shows and I can draw large audiences. We'll see.